Ana Luna y hoy nos vamos a dedicar a hablar sobre los temas que les preocupan sobre las escuelas. Today we're going to talk about the school district, East Stroudsburg Area School District with Dr. Riker, Superintendent of this area, and Amari Bonilla Rodriguez, School Board Director, and Hispanic, ¿verdad?
Sí, soy la primera latina elegida a esa oficina en el distrito.
Sí. So let's do this, guys, because we want to reach everybody who speaks English and who doesn't speak English so well, or Spanish is the first language. We're going to do this in English, and Amari will complement the responses of Dr. Riker in Spanish, okay, and add something to it, because we want to know what's happening in our schools. There's a lot of uncertainty, and we want to cover what's happening now for graduation, what's happening in the summer, and what's happening in the fall, and how to register our kids. Are you okay, guys? Yes?
Yeah.
And you, my audience, are you okay? ¿Sí? ¿Sí? Espero que sí, ¿vale? If you have any questions, please, si tienen algunas preguntas, write it in comments in the YouTube channel or in Facebook, and we will get them to Dr. Riker and to Dr. Bonilla Rodriguez, because you're a PhD too. Both of you are.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, let's start this. These are some questions we have from our community and some concerns that I've been gathering in the last weeks. Let's start. 2 months after the confinement and studying at home, we are now at the end of the school year. Students and parents are concerned about graduation. What are the plans for it? Dr. Riker?
Yes, so thank you. Thanks for having me. I really enjoy being here with you, and I look forward to many more of these. With respect to graduation, the board last evening actually approved to hold our high school north and south graduations at the Pocono Raceway. And that will, the Pocono Raceway, we're very appreciative to them for opening up that venue for us and our students and our families. The graduation will be held on June 13th. Both graduations, the North graduation will be at 11 a.m. and the South graduation will be at 3 p.m. We are working on, although we haven't confirmed yet, a rain date for the 14th, should we have inclement weather on that day. We hope for sunshine, and we hope it's a beautiful day. It's an absolutely beautiful venue for graduation. The students and the parents get to actually drive on the racetrack, and we're working with Channel 13, who has agreed to provide a live feed for graduation and help us with recording some images for the jumbo screens that are at the racetrack. So we're really excited about it, and it really is supporting our students who actually got to vote on where they wanted to hold graduation, and Pocono Raceway was their choice.
That's great. And is it going to be any different from a regular graduation before the confinement, besides the location?
It will be a little different. We will have the speeches will be pre-recorded, but we are looking to announce the names. And of course, when they announce the names, the student will actually come across in their vehicle, because we still are required to maintain social distancing. So they'll come across the start-finish line of the raceway, where they will be receiving their diploma from the principal of the high school. And then they'll move around the track, and once they all gather, we'll all come back to the start-finish line, where they'll move their tassels to signify their completion of their K-12 education.
Wow, that's so great. Thank you very much. Damari.
Sí, estamos felices poder celebrar la graduación de nuestros estudiantes, sabiendo que hay tantas cosas que no hemos podido celebrar en estos últimos meses. Entonces, la Junta Directiva Escolar anoche votó tener la celebración en el Pocono Raceway el 13 de junio. Para la Escuela Norte será a las 11 de la mañana, para la Escuela del Sur será a las 3 de la tarde. Si acaso llueve, entonces tenemos la fecha del 14, pero es una oportunidad para celebrar los estudiantes, reconocer que han terminado esta experiencia y que ellos puedan tener esa celebración en un lugar tan especial. Yo creo que todas las familias van a estar felices.
Muy bien. Buen trabajo. Gracias. A ver, now let's go to the next question. Homework. We're talking about homework. That's a main challenge. now in these last 2 months, right? How do you find the different, what are the challenges and what is the best ways to deal with the different group ages? I studied in Spain, where I come from, has shown that this confinement is helping kids be more independent, to do their homework, their chores at home. They see that helicopter parents, the study was saying that many parents were doing their kids' homework before, and that wasn't helping the kids achieve their success. They had worse grades when the parents did their homework, right? And now the parents are so busy at home, the kids have to be more independent. So helicopter parents are letting the reins go a little bit, and their chores at home. What are the challenges, and what are your ideas to help with those that still have difficulty in this?
So I think you have to, I like to think of students and parents, families understanding the purpose of homework. And I like to always make the connection between a student doing homework and an athlete going to practice. And what homework really is a student's way to practice the new materials that they're learning, and to be able to demonstrate that they have learned the concepts and the materials that are being taught to them and that they are asked to learn. And so I think the challenge of getting students to complete homework is getting them to understand what the value of learning is, and what the value of practicing is, and what the value of completing that work is, so that they realize, why am I doing this? It's not just busy work. It's not something to just say, here's a way to keep you busy while you're home, so you can't go outside and play and do all those things you may like to do.
That's what happens, I think, right? That's what happens in many cases, that they think that they're being prisoner or punished while the little ones, the little siblings or neighbors are out playing.
Yeah, and so I think it's important that first that they understand, and what is the value of doing homework? Why am I even getting homework? Is it really for that purpose? And I would say, no, it isn't. It's really for them to practice, to be able to demonstrate they understand what it is they're learning, so that their teachers can help them if they're struggling with it. That's okay. Failing is part of learning. And so if they struggle with something, or they're having difficulty with it and they can't do it, that's all right. But in this situation too, I think it's important to be flexible with our families and our students. What
do you mean by flexible? In which ways?
Well, I mean that homework, if they're not able to do homework because they are having other complications at home and other things that are causing them to not find the time or the place to do that, I think we have to be cognizant of that, and we have to recognize that, and we have to be empathetic towards our students and their families and what they may be struggling with. So homework is not something that should really negatively impact students a whole lot, I think, from a grade standpoint. But I think from a purposeful standpoint, as long as students understand why homework is even there and why it's being assigned.
Yeah, that's important. Damari, sumariza, resume.
Me interesa ese estudio de España porque la información que dan es algo que quisiera que estudiemos más, pero estoy de acuerdo con Dr. Riker que las familias deben entender cuál es la razón por la que le damos tarea a los estudiantes, ¿verdad? Porque la tarea es para ayudarlos a practicar la materia que ellos están aprendiendo en la escuela. No es un castigo, no es algo que debe dar más problema y dificultad a la familia. Como explicó él, hay que tener flexibilidad para que entiendan que si no se puede hacerlo hoy está bien, pero esto es para ayudar a nuestros estudiantes y aprender a los niños y los guardianes, la familia, a valorar esa ayuda que provee la tarea, y para que los maestros tengan más información para saber en qué necesita ayuda el estudiante, qué áreas tienen fuerza, qué áreas necesitan más apoyo. Entonces no es un castigo, ¿no? Es algo importante en el proceso educativo.
Y los padres, que no hagan las tareas de los niños, hay que hacerlas a los niños.
No, porque no le hace bien, le hace más daño, ¿verdad? Porque entonces no están practicando la materia y no la van aprendiendo.
Yeah, parents, don't do the kids' homework, right? You had your chance when you were a kid to do your homework. That's it. You don't have the opportunity anymore. Now, next question. Parents and children are finding sometimes difficulties in creating a routine. right? It's like they're struggling, the kid resists, they don't want to do it. What are your recommendations so that they can embrace school and schoolwork and not have difficulties in the fall or in the future about it?
That's a great question, and that's a question I always tell my own children. The greatest challenge of a child who leaves high school and goes to college is time management. And how do you manage all your free time, knowing that you still have obligations to complete your work? And oftentimes it's that time management that gets in the way of students' opportunity to be successful. And so we as a district provided some routine schedules that parents could use. It's on our Learn from Home support page that gives them, by grade levels, by different grade spans, it gives them an idea of how they may want to carve out the times of the day for their children to work on schoolwork, obviously enjoy free time as well. So we recognize there again, there's a lot of flexibility from one family to another, but we also know that routines are sometimes important for people. Some people like the consistency of knowing from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock every day, I'm going to do this. I still go to the office every day. I think it's because I like the routine of doing that.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important, but at the same time, again, I think in this time that we're all dealing with, that flexibility of schedule is also something that has to be taken into consideration. So we provide those routines, those schedules, if you will, for parents that are struggling with how much time should my child spend in this subject area each day, so that they have an idea, because now they are independent, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes if they're independent, are they disciplined enough to stick to that schedule or that routine? Or is it easy for them to do something else because they enjoy something that may not be school related more?
Yeah, that's so true. Can you write down the page, please, here in chat so that people can find out about the routine while Damari is responding in Spanish to Damari Bonilla Rodriguez, our first Hispanic board school director, public elected, elegida públicamente, and Dr. Riker here, que estamos aquí hoy, es el superintendent of East Stroudsburg Area School District, del área de East Stroudsburg. Estamos aquí mensualmente con temas que les pueden interesar a la comunidad y para crear un vínculo entre la escuela y ustedes, los estudiantes y los padres. We're here to create a bridge between the community and the school district. Damari, dime. Sí.
Sí, estoy de acuerdo también en lo que él explicó, que no es fácil manejar el uso de tiempo para los niños y para los adultos. Siempre es algo con la cual estamos bregando, pero el problema es que si no manejamos bien el tiempo, el horario, entonces los estudiantes, eso le puede impedir el suceso. Lo que queremos es ayudarle a los estudiantes con flexibilidad a poder cubrir la materia que tienen que cubrir diariamente, seguir aprendiendo y que no se les olvide lo que aprendieron al principio de este año durante el tiempo que están en la casa. Entonces, el distrito ha proveído ideas en cómo las familias pueden usar el horario para hacer el trabajo escolar, también con flexibilidad. Nosotros con los niños de nosotros hay días que hacemos la matemática primero, otros días que hacemos la ciencia primero, dependiendo de qué humor están y qué le interesa en ese día, ¿verdad? Entonces, como padres, ser flexible y ayudar a los niños a apoyarlos, pero con una rutina.
Flexibility is hard sometimes because, like you get frustrated that they're not doing it and then they resist and it's worse.
Yes, yes.
Let's see, next question. What are the main emotional issues you're finding in students about the change of their lives during the confinement? I have read that the little ones have patterns of regression, fear. In teenagers, there's also fear, anger. How can teachers and parents help or guide the different challenges that students are finding?
So one of the things that we're working on at East Stroudsburg, we started last summer, was to be a trauma-informed school in a trauma-informed environment, because we recognize the challenges and the social emotional learning aspects that students and families are struggling with in our communities for any variety of reasons. So we did start to do, last summer, we trained all of our administrators and all of our guidance counselors. We spent a 3-day training with Dr. Sadin, who has written a number of books on social emotional learning. And what we're looking to do through our social workers at our school is provide teams at each building, a trauma-informed team, which we started to implement this school year. Of course, this has set us back a little bit in that, but we have one of our 5 pillars that we created as an administrative team is that emotional support aspect of the whole child. And knowing that there are things that we say and we do that we have to keep in mind that we have such a diverse group of students in our district, and it's important to understand the social emotional learning aspects and the items that could really get in the way of students' readiness to learn when they come to school. Yeah. And not all students come ready to learn because they're dealing with a lot of emotional pieces. So the school is really looking to expand that this year, the 2021 school year. We're going to be presenting to the board an opportunity to bring 4 additional social workers onto our staff, which would give us 6. And I think as a district, we're well ahead of a lot of other schools in a lot of other places in recognizing the emotional impacts on students for learning.
And how can parents, and now before we go to the school, back to the school, how can we deal with these situations currently?
I mean, I'm not a psychologist, nor am I trained in that area, but I think what I would really look for parents to do is reach out to the schools. I think we have great resources and people that are really, that's their area of expertise that can provide support. We have student assistant programs. We have a lot of resources. In fact, we started a resource webpage for our community and for our families. And I'll type that in the chat.
Yeah, type it, yes, please.
So that, we're trying to provide, these are resources that are provided by the state, as well as our community resources, so that parents can reach out to folks that really are experts in these areas to provide that type of assistance for them and their children.
Thank you. I think that's a great response. Reach the schools, right, for the answers that you need. And Damari.
Sí, pienso que tienes la razón que los niños y los estudiantes están bregando con ansiedad, con miedo y otros sentimientos porque han experimentado cambios rápidamente, ¿verdad? Sí es difícil para nosotros como adultos imaginarnos cómo los niños y los jóvenes más están experimentando eso porque no tienen control de nada. Estaban en la escuela un día sentados en una mesa, en una silla, ahora están en la casa. No todos tienen un escritorio o una silla, ¿verdad? Es mucho cambio rápidamente sin preparación. Entonces, yo estoy orgullosa que el distrito de nosotros se ha enfocado en la preparación de nuestros empleados a diferentes niveles, a aprender cómo manejar y ayudar a nuestros estudiantes a sobresalir experiencias traumáticas, experiencias personales, que como dijo Dr. Riker, ellos traen con ellos a la escuela todos los días cuando vienen. Entonces, si no bregamos con esa situación y le proveemos ese apoyo, ellos no pueden hacer bien en la escuela, no se pueden enfocar, no podemos, no podemos darle la experiencia mejor. Entonces, nuestro distrito está al frente de este trabajo muy importante que nos va a beneficiar a nuestros estudiantes, a nuestra comunidad. Y hay otros distritos que no han hecho esa preparación, pero con el liderazgo de él, nosotros estamos más adelantados que otros distritos, no solo en nuestra región, en el estado, pero en toda la nación.
Ya, bueno, y que la gente, lo estaba diciendo también el doctor Riker, que si hay problemas emocionales en los niños, pues que se dirijan a las escuelas para buscar respuestas, de buscar ayuda.
Sí, y que se recuerden que las escuelas de nosotros tenemos, como él explicó, trabajadores sociales, estamos empezando a traer más personas en esa capacidad y también las escuelas tienen los guidance counselors, esa consejería es un apoyo adicional para nuestros estudiantes y yo misma llamo a la consejera en la escuela, a veces ella le manda un video a los niños míos para apoyarlos y decirles una semana más, están haciendo bien y es algo que de veras le ayuda a los niños emocionalmente para que se puedan enfocar en el estudio escolar.
Muy bien, bien hecho. Now let's go to the summer. Let's say we have a graduation date. We have dealt with the emotional, with the homework issues. Now it's summer. What are the plans? Are there any plans for the school during the summer?
Yes, so our summer enrichment program that we do for K-5 students, that right now we're planning for that being a virtual program because we don't know whether we'll be allowed to actually have students come to our schools. So our summer program will begin on June 29th and continue until, let me check my date, July 24th. And we will have registration starting in the next couple of weeks for that. So our summer program, we're also looking to expand that to our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students. Our course enrichment program and credit recovery program through our blended learning school will also begin on June 29th. So all of that is going to continue. I'd also add we're going to continue our current meal delivery program and grab and go lunch program all the way through the end of June that we currently have for the summer, because we know we typically do our seamless summer lunch program at the parks in Dansbury Park and the Stroud Park. And then we also have offered that when we do our summer enrichment programs. But since they are not going to occur, we don't believe, in our schools, we still want to offer that meal program to our families up through the end of June. And then we're going to talk about in June, maybe extending that through July and August.
That's the same way that they're delivering it now? The
Yes.
same way with the school buses in
Yes.
the school. And if people have any questions about that, where can they find information?
That would be, they probably should contact myself, or I can give you an email address for them to contact.
Okay, if you can put it in the chat, that would be great.
Yeah.
And these summer programs, are they mandatory or are they, no?
No, they're not mandatory programs. They're enrichment programs. I mean, we're also working to look at how we need to adjust our curriculum for the start of next school year based on these months that we've been closed. So we like to look at summer as more of an enrichment opportunity for students to explore areas that they have interest in. Gets back to that personalized approach and student choice and student voice, and that's important to us. So we really want to look at it as an extension to the school year for our students and give them something that they're excited to learn about.
Thank you. Damari.
Sí, los niños míos han estudiado en este programa de verano, que es una opción, no es mandatorio. Fue buena pregunta que hiciste. Ellos van a la escuela un mes en el verano, y la razón que nosotros nos gusta que participen en ese programa es porque no se le olvida lo que aprendieron el año antes, pero también es preparación para el año que viene. Entonces, en el verano hay algunos niños que pierden la información que han aprendido. Eso le llaman el Summer Learning Loss. De aquí a que llegan a 8º grado, han perdido casi un año escolar. Entonces, es importante para nuestra comunidad entender que siempre en el verano deben de hacer programas, actividades. No tiene que ser algo específico, pero que hagan diferentes actividades para apoyar a los estudiantes. Este verano, nuestro distrito va a proveer ese programa opcional para los grados de kindergarten hasta 8º grado, desde junio 29 hasta julio 24, y también el programa para los estudiantes cyber que estudian virtualmente durante todo el año escolar. También importante es que sepa la comunidad que vamos a continuar sirviendo comida a los niños en nuestra comunidad durante el verano, llevándolo a las paradas de los autobuses escolares para el mes entero de junio, y también estamos mirando la fecha para julio. Y eso es algo que nuestra junta directiva, nuestro superintendente y la administración nos hemos cometido a proveer comida para nuestra comunidad en este tiempo de crisis. Eso ha sido gran ayuda. Hemos servido más de 200,000 personas con esas comidas.
Es importante eso. Muchas gracias. Eso también se puede aplicar a otros distritos, ¿no? Que la gente puede, estamos hablando de East Stroudsburg, pero también podemos ampliarlo. O si la gente tiene preguntas, los distritos, me imagino que se regulan de una forma similar.
Sí, sí, más o menos los programas que ofrecen son similares, algunos están más avanzados que otros o algunas experiencias son un poquito diferentes, por ejemplo, el horario en la cual proveen comida. Y Stroudsburg, nosotros estamos llevando la comida a las paradas de los autobuses escolares, los otros distritos no. Entonces, lo mejor que pueden hacer es comunicar con su distrito, llamar a la oficina administrativa o también mirar en la página web de su distrito.
Okay, muy bien. Now, next question. We're halfway through here because we have a lot of things that people are asking and they want to know. Some studies say that younger children are neither susceptible to the disease nor carriers. What are the thoughts and plans about this as we look into the beginning of the school year in the fall?
Great question.
Difficult question too.
Difficult question. And I don't know that we have the right answer or all the answers yet, but I'll let you know what we're working on so that people can feel secure about our thinking and planning around that. Obviously, the state and the Secretary of Education and the governor will determine if and when we return to school in the fall. So our number one area of concern is student safety and making sure parents and students and our families feel safe about their children coming back to school. And so we're looking at ideas that may cause us to run alternating days where half the students may come on one day, another half the students may come on the next day. We may have to social distance students on our school buses so that we don't have as many students on a school bus. Obviously, more students would be social distance as well in the classroom. We're looking at cafeterias not being able to serve large groups of students at one time in the cafeteria. We're looking at all of our cleaning procedures. How are we cleaning our rooms? What do we need to change in our cleaning processes to ensure that we maintain our current conditions and the sanitary conditions for our students and safe conditions? So there are a lot of ideas. We also will be prepared if we need to continue our Learn from Home program. And then for any parents who may be thinking or families who are thinking of a cyber school option, we're strongly encouraging families to come to the best cyber school option they can ever find, and that's East Stroudsburg Area School District. And those students, we see a lot of advertisements on TV for cyber learning opportunities that people think are tuition free, but they're not. The school district has to pay for every one of those students to attend one of those schools. And their success rate isn't nearly as good as our program at East Stroudsburg Area School District, where we had 100% graduation last year, and every student receives an East Stroudsburg School District diploma and can participate in all of our after-school activities. So we have that option that's always available. If a parent is really concerned about sending their child, or family's concerned about sending their child to our schools, that's an option that we understand they may need to consider and want to consider, and we hope that they'll stay right here at home at East Stroudsburg to do that.
We'll talk about cyber schooling next month if you're okay with that, because we want to explain better to people
Yes.
to understand what it is about and what are the differences. Well, one thing that I'm sure that you'll have to buy is a lot of soap for the kids, right?
Yes, actually right before this started, we worked on making sure we had soap dispensers in every classroom. We have gallons and gallons of hand cleaners and masks. We've had conversations about masks and wearing masks and for our employees and temperature checks. So we don't have guidance, but we're planning for all those possibilities.
Will the kids have to wear masks too? Do you know that still?
I don't know that. And those are the things that we're not sure what they will have to do and what we as a school district may need to do to support those decisions that may be placed upon us.
Do we have an approximate date of when these decisions are going to be made?
My meeting I was in last Friday said, don't expect to know anything anytime soon.
Living with uncertainty, that's what it is, right? Learn to live with uncertainty.
We do know that the first day of school is August 31st.
Okay, that's what we know. That's something we know. That's good. Damari.
Eso es lo único que sabemos, que que vamos a empezar el año escolar agosto 31, que viene siendo el último lunes en el mes. El gobernador y el secretario de Educación son los que determinan si volverán los estudiantes a los edificios, cuándo volverán los estudiantes a los edificios, qué son los requisitos para los distritos escolares en volver a los edificios, etcétera. Pero sí nosotros estamos preparándonos, como explicó Dr. Riker, en las áreas de mantenimiento, de limpieza, pensando en los comedores y la guagua. Si no podemos tener cierto número de estudiantes, cómo vamos a preparar la situación y el ambiente para que los estudiantes estén protegidos, porque esa es nuestra prioridad, como él explicó, la protección y salud de nuestros estudiantes. Entonces, estamos pensando y preparando, como tú explicaste, mucho jabón, mucho como antibacterial, tal vez máscara, si tengan que tener máscara los estudiantes. De veras que no sabemos, pero sí la administración con el liderazgo del superintendente están en preparaciones por si acaso. También hay una opción de los padres y familiares que no quieran mandar a los estudiantes a los edificios. Si volvemos a los edificios, tienen esa opción de todavía mantener sus estudiantes en el programa virtual. El distrito de nosotros tiene un programa cyber, que quiere decir que si quieren estudiar virtual, no tienen que sacar los estudiantes de nuestro distrito, y es una buena oportunidad que no todos los distritos tienen. Entonces, es una opción para las familias si todavía no están seguros que cuando abran los edificios quieren mandar los estudiantes ahí.
Okay. Muchas gracias. A ver, ya estamos casi al final de nuestra entrevista. We're almost at the end, but there are questions of registering, okay? One of our people were asking that they had an appointment to register their kid in April for kindergarten, and that was canceled. What's happening with what do I do now?
Okay, great question. So we have transferred our registration to a completely virtual online registration process. So what I will do, I'll put in the chat the website where families may go in order to register their students. We've been registering students. We probably were closed the first couple weeks into mid-April, and then we transitioned to a virtual registration. So parents, families can register their students right now if they
now. Is there an end date for registrations?
No end date.
A ver, matriculen a sus hijos, ¿verdad, Damari? Hay que matricular a los niños ahora, no hay razón para no hacerlo.
Sí, hay que hacerlo ahora. Específicamente los que están empezando el kinder es importante para que comiencen el proceso. Hemos movido el proceso de registración a la página web desde abril, entonces las familias pueden ir ahí y manejar todo. Él va a poner la página web en el chat box. Si tienen alguna pregunta, pueden comunicarse con la administración para que les guíen un poco más, porque sé que no todos tienen la experiencia o el acceso para usar el internet y la computadora, y podemos proveer apoyo adicional para ese proceso.
Muchas gracias. Y ahora, now to end this, please, to end this for now, because we want to continue learning more about what you have to offer and creating a bridge between parents, students, and the schools. Is there a message that you have for the students, the parents, for all these wonderful employees and teachers? One last thing that you would like to say?
I just want to thank everyone for continuing to be supportive of the district. I thank our teachers, our staff, our cafeteria folks that are making the meals every day, our bus drivers that are delivering them, our parents that are really needing to adjust, and our families that are adjusting in these situations. You know, I want everyone to stay positive, you know, appreciate each other, support each other, stay healthy and, make good decisions and know that, we're here for your children and they're our number one priority. And we're here to support everyone, our community, our families. And we're just appreciative of all the support that we've been receiving, our volunteers that have been helping in our communities. So thank you. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Riker. Damari, ¿alguna cosa más que quieras añadir? Mensajes a alumnos, profesores, empleados de las escuelas,
sí,
padres.
Como Dr. Riker, les quiero dar las gracias a todos en el distrito, sean los maestros, sean los que trabajan en el comedor, los choferes que manejan las guaguas, los policías que no sabemos que ellos están monitoreando los edificios para asegurar que todo esté a salvo, que no haya problemas con nuestros edificios. Hay tanta gente que ha sido parte de este proceso para que los estudiantes puedan continuar con su educación y su experiencia, especialmente las familias que se han convertido en maestros, ¿verdad? Como hemos hablado mucho en otras áreas nosotros en nuestro trabajo, pero que sigan apoyándose unos a otros, que tenemos que mantener una actitud positiva para poder salir adelante, porque todavía no sabemos cuánto tiempo esto va a durar, no sabemos qué decisiones van a tomar a nivel estatal, a nivel federal para nuestras comunidades. Sabemos que todavía el gobernador no ha abierto Monroe County, Pike County, las áreas donde nuestro distrito escolar está localizado. Entonces hay muchas preguntas todavía y vamos a seguir trabajando juntos y consiguiendo la información y haciendo estas entrevistas para ayudar a nuestra comunidad y ser un recurso para ellos.
Muchas gracias a los dos. Thank you, Dr. Riker. Thank you, Damari Bonilla Rodriguez. Gracias a ustedes, for all of you that have been during until the end of this session. And we hope that this information is useful for you. If you have any questions, please send them to us. And remember to share this information. This will be in the YouTube channel of Cafe with Christina, and we'll send it also to the school district so you can share this wonderful information and all the other interviews that we have done with Dr. Riker and Damari. Damari, you're everywhere with us in different interviews in different areas. So thank you both. Gracias, amigos. No olviden de suscribirse y compartir esta información. Cualquier pregunta me la envían y yo se la paso a ellos, ¿ok? Vale, muchas gracias, amigos. Chao.